Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Chris's Movie Reviews where, as you can see, I am going to be reviewing Knives Out. This came out last year, 2019, was directed by Rian Johnson, who also did Star Wars, and you know, I have to say, I'm not 100% sure of what I feel about Knives Out. It's a very artistic film. It is not a Wes Anderson, but it is clearly not just about... It's clearly not just about the plot. It's not just about the characterizations. It's also about those moments. We have so many little cutaway shots, especially when they're showing the house. And I think it works for what it is. I think I was reading the IMDb page, and there was a whole bunch of stuff about it. It's supposed to be emulating Agatha Christie novels and the way that many of those became movies and the kind of feel of those movies, and I fully agree on that. There is this kind of traditional mystery feel to this movie, and I think it worked. It's worth having its own little section. Daniel Craig, specifically Daniel Craig's southern accent. Oh my god. It's just amazing. And I know he's an actor, and actors are supposed to be able to do accents and all that stuff. When you really get down to it, and you really think about it, then yeah, it's really good. Everything seemed a bit off. It wasn't 100% believable. And it was just gave it that right amount of, I am watching a movie. I am properly watching a movie. I'm not being involved. I'm not getting sucked into the movie. I am watching something that is a farce. It is a farce. It is not real. Fun fact, this took place in Massachusetts. The firefighters who put out that fire are from my hometown. Which I did not know until I read through the IMDb page. So that's pretty cool. And, you actually see the Massachusetts State Police cars. Which, if you live in Massachusetts, you should know what those look like. And that was in one of the first scenes, and it was like, hey, Massachusetts! And apparently it was shot right near Boston and all that stuff. So I thought that was cool. And, of course, you have Chris Evans, who grew up, I believe it was in Sudbury. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's Southborough. But I think it's Sudbury. Or Shrewsbury. One of the S places in Massachusetts. On the off chance that they are watching, Mr. Craig, Mr. Evans, should you ever wish for an evening of casual conversation and simple times and just a good chat, please know that my calendar is completely open for you, and I will do anything I can to completely clear the calendar if it is needed. I'm more than willing to buy more alcohol for you, and I'll put you up. I've got a few cots that I'll sleep on. You can have the bed, and here you go. One thing that I think gets overlooked a lot in movie production is the setting. And I'm not necessarily talking about exactly where it's set, and obviously it's set in Massachusetts, but more so what the set looks like, the set decorations, the props, the architecture of where it is that you are filming, and I think it's a beautiful set. It's truly beautiful. And then with the characters, they're all very formal, and yet they act less than formal, but just as you would expect. I mentioned in one of the first reviews that I did that I'm a trombonist, and I love movie soundtracks, and so that's always kind of stuck out to me. And this is nothing against the composer, but it just... I feel like there was a lot of these big, broad moments of music, and I don't know if they led to anything. I mean, clearly they were very artistic, and they worked into the movie itself, but overall, it was, I don't know. Maybe it's worth a second viewing. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe it's one of those like Inception type movies where you have to watch it multiple times. But this is not Chris's second viewing reviews. This is Chris's movie reviews. Maybe it was hyped up too much. It's now June as I just watched this, and this came out in 2019, November 2019 to be specific. So, I've seen it on social media and all that stuff. And maybe I just saw too much hype about it, but I don't know. It just didn't do much for me. And obviously, like, movies aren't designed to do everything for everyone, but I don't know. Reading through the IMDb trivia, again, there was a whole bunch of little nods, and, it's clearly a well-constructed film. It is clearly a film that Rian Johnson spent a lot of time on, and props to him, because it came out looking really great. You get this really great cast of characters, but they're all one-dimensional, and I think that's on purpose. Because you have the racist type, you have the overly dramatic type, you have the nosy type, you have the stereotypical teenager, and I think it was fine that it was one-dimensional. I think it's worth noting about politics in movies. Clearly, Rian Johnson was influenced by certain events. And here's the thing. Art is about expressing feelings. You might not like it. You might not immediately see it, but I can promise you right now that is primarily what art is there for. You might watch this movie and say, oh, well, clearly, it shouldn't have been made because Rian Johnson isn't in support of our president. Well, tough. That's literally... Art is intended for people to have a freedom of expression. And by the way, you will see this very thinly veiled sometimes. Go back to some older movies and you'll be like, oh, right, that's what that was about. I can't remember which country it was, but Godzilla, which I'm pretty sure was made in Japanese first, that it was literally a response to nuclear threats, like the threat of nuclear war, and that's what they feared would come of it. This radioactive mutation, and that's just the first one I can think of. There are so many, and to say that movies aren't a place for politics is like saying that the news isn't a place for the weather. It is. So I now have to give Knives Out a rating, which is a bit more difficult, I think, than some of the others, because, as I mentioned, it's a really well put together film. It's a really artistic piece. It is, it clearly works out, and it's a good film, but I don't know, maybe I just missed an element. Maybe I don't know, maybe it's because I'm actually filming this on a Tuesday. Maybe something's up in the air tonight. I don't know. But it wasn't overly great for me. So I'm going to give Knives Out 3.5 stars. Again, it wasn't that there was anything wrong with it. It was just, it was missing that, to steal the point of the movie, spoiler alert, it was missing the center of the donut. And maybe I just skipped over it, which is rare because I love donuts, but maybe I just skipped something somewhere. But, I have to give points to it being so artistic, to it being so well done, and so 3.5 stars. It's good. I do recommend watching it. 3.5 stars. So that is my review of Knives Out. Thank you so much for watching. Keep watching movies. Keep listing movies for me to review. Remember, you can always put them in the comments section, and I will absolutely do my best to review them. And thanks so much for watching.
Want more? Check out chrismoviereviews.com. Follow me on Instagram and Reddit. Sign up for the newsletter and submit a user comment for me to read. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Can you drink alcohol on YouTube? Well, we're going to find out.